course, it's his honor. I'm his manager, so he couldn't say anything else. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Carlos. Great introduction. I'm super pleased to be in this beautiful city. Actually, I live here, and I say beautiful for two reasons. First one, my wife and mother-in-law say so. Second one, because this is a beautiful example of a network. You think about it. Beautiful skyscrapers. It's always clean, safe, infrastructure, traffic lights that work, roadworks that don't bother you, buildings that are shining, and shopping malls that are open 24 hours a day. Schools that work every day, and there's no strikes. There's no hustle. It's a perfect city. You think about the cities and the examples we've had among us. The people in this room, there's about 700, 800 people. Between us, we've probably lived in about 200, 250 cities. Between us, okay? There's beautiful skyscrapers and big malls everywhere. But this is the power of a silo versus the power of the network. And I'm going to talk about this momentarily. Simple, beautifully buildings is one thing. A society with everything's connected is another. And in a few moments, I'm going to share with you my thoughts as to why this is relevant when it comes to spend control. Now, let me get my slides right. So when I joined SAP, that was about 10 years, 12 years ago, okay? We were an ERP vendor, the king of ERP. Today, only 1 in 5 licenses we sell, $1 in $5 is ERP. And that's probably a surprise for you, and I want this to be a takeaway. 4 in 5 have to do with things that are around ERP, in the data world, or in the customer world. Okay? And business networks is a big part of that 4 in 5. And the reason why it's big is because unlike beautifully built solutions in the cloud, like Workday, like Salesforce, like a lot of stuff that Microsoft or IBM or many of our other peers and partners have, what we have here is a network. These were also beautiful solutions running on their own. But SAP did two things. The first one is we acquired the best solution in their category. We didn't go for number 2 or number 3, we went for number 1. Ariba was and still is number 1. Concur was and still is number 1. As a matter of fact, it's probably the only one. Fieldglass, similar to Concur. Not only number 1, it's the only one. And that's a difference. And it's actually, we went a step further. We didn't just buy them. We've integrated them with everything else we have. So that you as customers have two choices. Choice number 1, you can use them in their own right. Choice number 2, you can use them as part of the intelligent network and the intelligent enterprise, to which I'm going to refer to momentarily. Let's take a step first to see what's happening in the Middle East. This is probably the story for which I'm the proudest. I lead a region of 80 countries. Our headquarters in the last 5 years for that region have moved here in Dubai, in the Middle East. And alongside that, we've gone, I remember in 2008 when I joined, I was employee number 47. Today, just in this city, we have more than 700 people. We're opening big offices in Abu Dhabi. We have beautiful offices across the whole of the Middle East, most recently in Egypt and Pakistan and Bahrain. And most importantly, we were the first company of global scale to open not 1, 2 tier 4 data centers, public cloud solution data centers in the Middle East. Okay? Not only that, we went a step further. We committed to our clients, we will also open disaster recovery data centers to comply with data sovereignty rules. This means in the business network category, we are the only company that can provide in the UAE and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia applications that comply to the legislation. And that's a big investment on our behalf. If you think about it, there's a lot of companies that have beautifully architected data centers, but there's one thing hosting someone else's on-premise solutions, and it's a different thing hosting public cloud solutions, where you don't have to worry about security, you don't have to worry about upgrades and updates, the database administrators, telecommunications, submarine tables and satellite networks, and all of the nuances that make these investments really big. And for this, we're very proud. But what makes us unique and different is our in-country value and the give back culture we have in everything we do. You see some of the numbers here, and they're very important in that clearly we support Emiratization, we support Saudization. We have an endless number of university partners where you can find SAP curricula in most of those top universities. We hire the best graduates from the local universities, and we send them for 1 year in Palo Alto. And they come back, and these are the leaders, the people that will eventually succeed me and will succeed Carlos. The consultants and the architects and the business principals that will come and serve your business. We take pride in the way we grow our people because you trust our people with the future of your business. And that's very important. Now, when you think a little bit about Ariba, Fieldglass, and Concur, these numbers speak volumes. We're talking about millions of users that are connected. Think about Facebook. Think about Instagram. Think about Twitter. You're not just sending data to yourself. Okay? We're not talking about someone storing personal photographs in a hard disk hidden somewhere in the desert. We're talking about millions of users being connected real time every day, 24/7. And that has a lot of power, ladies and gentlemen, because you can buy, you can sell, you can procure safely. You can go beyond the reach of your physical stores. You can get your buyers and your HR colleagues and your finance colleagues to think beyond the reach of their arm. And it's not just about the data you see in your screen. It's about the data that everybody puts in the network. And when you have millions of users, hundreds of thousands of companies interconnected, and billions of dollars worth of transactions every year, then this is not a small thing. You're not going to be scrolling through a list of 100 companies to see if you know anybody. Actually, it's about who is not on the network, not who is on the network. And I remember a few years ago when we first started, Carlos was right. We could do an all-customer meeting in a small room, okay, in a taxi, most probably. But our first anchor customers told us, and I remember, for instance, the ADNOC COO, who was also responsible for procurement, he said to me, Steve, we have 26,000 suppliers, 26,000 companies. One of them is SAP, by the way, okay? All of them will have to be part of the network. We went to the kingdom. Saudi Aramco said to us, we want to put everything on Ariba, and we're going to help you build the data center in the Middle East. This is partnership. This is how much customers believe. And then from there, we went to the utilities, we went to the airlines, we went to the constructors, to the airlines, now public sector. Most governments are in the process of using or are currently using some of our solutions. The largest people training database with civil servants in the world is in the Middle East. 3 million registered people. So we're not just talking about a cloud solution. We're talking about something that moves the economy. And when you look at the way we've architected, if we can go to the next slide, please. If you see the way we've architected, thank you, our thinking around your business, we call this the Intelligent Enterprise Framework. And in very simple words, what this is how do I connect my core assets, which is my stock, my raw materials, my people, my machinery, manufacturing, logistics, okay, my business, with my data and my customers. And in that solar system, you have spend control. You have the ability to also interconnect in a different dimension what's happening with your total spend. How do I go from just raising a purchase request or procuring, furniture, for instance, for my new office or the new fleet of cars, to doing total spend control? How does my employee leverage the best rates I have? How does the person that travel have an unprecedented experience? Whether you're sitting in a terminal and you want to know what is the status of your flight, and if you're sitting in the right gate, have I checked into my favorite seat? Have I stayed in my favorite hotel with preferential rates? Has my procurement team done the best deal possible? Have the best vendors responded to that e-bid that I launched 24 hours ago, and it has even a countdown, not different to eBay or Amazon. And all of this functionality, ladies and gentlemen, is available to you. Most importantly, in an economy that's based and relies heavily on subcontractors and contingent workforce. And when I say heavily, in this country alone, we have 6 or 7 million blue-collar workers, right? Many of them contingent workforce. Think about the money behind this: security, health, screening, availability, the supply chain, okay? Providing health and safety standards at work, providing good place to live, and the connection for these people back home with their families. You're talking about millions of people. You're not just talking about hundreds of people that help us in the office with our everyday needs. And when you talk about 6 or 7 million people, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one platform that can cater for that. And that's called Fieldglass. And it caters for everything: for the screening, for the health and safety, for the training, for their availability. Everything you could think of. Now connect that contingent workforce to your supply chain. Connect them with your HR department, the white-collar workers. Connect them with your customers and their needs. And this is what the intelligent enterprise is all about. How can you infuse intelligence in what is today a cost line item? So, ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to give you, as I go into my last slide, I wanted to give you just a quick idea and a snapshot of how SAP sees the network. Most importantly, I wanted to share with you how proud I am as the president of this region for the things that you have helped us achieve. And most importantly, I want to stand here today and thank you all for being great customers, great partners. And with you, I'm confident we will have another 12 years of the most amazing times in our life. Thank you very much. Wishing you all the best for the rest of the day.